What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. The 10 spoilers have been confirmed, but we still don't know everything because YouTubers were only given 1 to 2 10s to open depending on where you are. So with that being said, I'm about to go over some of Lithium, Jobbers, Ruggles, and Cyber Knight's pulls. If you want to watch those videos before getting spoiled, go ahead and pause and binge those. You have 3, 2, 1 to do so. Let's go ahead and get into the most important one perhaps so far. We have Jobber pulling Crossout freaking Designator with the name Crossout Designator. As weird as that might sound to you, people were speculating, wow, it seems really weird that the exact translation would be the name that ends up here. Well, nobleman of Crossout, the word designator isn't all that hard to add onto it, and it does read, declare one card name, semicolon, banish one of that declared card from your main deck, and if you do, negate its effects as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of cards with the original name until the end of this turn. You can only activate one Crossout Designator per turn. This is why people bought out Engraver of the Mark even with this unconfirmed, but that eBay seller seemed really reputable, and here we have Crossout locked in the 10 similar to Dragoon. So this original card is more likely a 3 of in the main deck where Dragoon's a 1 of in the extra deck. A lot of people worried about the prices. And John, should I do the singles? Should I do the 10s? We'll answer that after going over more of these singles and what's missing so far, because we still don't have a full set spoiler over here, but this does fill in some gaps with the YouTubers. We also see the structure deck stuff has been confirmed. We've seen Sacred Beast. I think we've seen more Drytron pulls as well. This is Lithium's video. And then we over here have Cyber Knight having the ultra rare Gearsu again. This is the 5-head thing my chat was trying to say would be missing through theory of, oh, all the Orcus were missing from the 10s before, and you have the Mech Knight link missing before. Oh, it's a Mech Knight and an Orcus that could be missing. Well, here he is in the 10s confirmed, and Ruggles with a very nice fractal, as well as Nadir's Servant and Ignister Island out of this 10. So Servant is in here. I've seen Albaz pulled. I've seen Revolution Dragon pulled. Some pretty awesome stuff overall. If you want to go through those openings for those tubers, definitely do so. But let's go ahead and talk buying singles versus the 10s. So last year, I don't have this year's numbers for ratios. There were no short prints despite everybody saying Dragoon was shorted. That's because there were 50 different ultra rares. And if we look at that being last year, how many ultras do you pull? A 10, you pull 6 and a 10 because you pull 2 per pack and you get 3 packs. So a case would be 12 10s if you've ordered a case, right? That's 72 total ultras out of a pull of 50, and you're only looking at 1.44 of each ultra pulled, and you're still rolling the dice. You could see 0 Dragoon in a 10, you could see 1, which is the most likely number, you could see 2 or 3. So with Crossout Designator, I expect something pretty similar, but we don't know how many total prismatics, ultras, and supers are there yet, I believe. But this is last year's pulls, and what do you think ends up being the more economic value? Yes, buying the singles, the SEMO. Now, this year's a little bit different, as we have a huge problem with the 10s. They're going to be released in waves. I've covered this in this video. You should definitely watch it. But now let's talk about the fallout for singles. Because the Megatins are going to be released in waves, vendors are seeing only 1/3 to a half of their initial shipment for all the 10s they ordered, and then the rest will come in on later dates. For singles, that's pretty bad because vendors didn't know the shortage was going to be happening. So the first thing they're going to do is fulfill the case orders. They're not going to bust for singles if they have already sold sealed cases. They're not going to be like, yeah, I have to do you later in terms of shipping this out. They're going to make the customer happy first and deal with singles afterwards if they bought extra 10s to bust, which also could leave them to, well, I'll just sell the rest sealed. We're going to see a lot less singles on the market, where usually there's this cutthroat, underslashing, undercutting, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Of just, I'm gonna put this low, we're gonna put this lower, make these sales, I think these cards are the good cards for later, I'm gonna sell these now. That's not gonna be happening as much with these 10s, and with a 3 of in the main deck locked behind the 10s exclusively as a non-promo, I have a bad feeling about the price for this one. I'm thinking it's going to be 50 plus out the gate, where Dragoon, you had that moment of it dipping to 30, then settling at 40 even out of meta use. This is immediate meta use. My actual unfortunate guess would be 70 to 80, but Still, there should be a big competition on this, and then people know future waves are looming. But that initial freaking demand for the 10 singles from so many people that are going to want to rush out, play them, play for those nice OTS packs, try to get in there with cards, yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. So that's my word of warning, is kind of watch how the supply and demand is being met, because there's gonna be an over demand versus that initial supply, and with it drawn out on a home run product, this wave structure is gonna be really bad. And then when we see bad sets, it's gonna be worse. But we're talking about the Megatins here and not the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I do want to say, like, we're missing access code talker right now. That's going to be the #1 thing people are still scrambling for. I did not see it opened in any of these early openings, but it's like 4 openings. I think it's 5 total 10s. I actually haven't had time to sit down and watch. I've only had time to scroll and be like, okay, this is in here. This is great. With the singles, again, we look in years past, it's really hard for a single to go above the MSRP of the Megatin on average, but there's so many good singles coming in these 10s. From the spoiler, we also know Triple Tactics talent is confirmed so far, and as more 10s get opened, we'll know more of the chase cards that are or are not in here and are slated for future products. Like, will we get Droplet within the 10s as well? We still have a lot of unanswered questions despite these early openings, but for now, we do know the spoiler was very real. People who pressed X to doubt are being proven wrong by official Konami-sponsored videos, and I think, you know, it's a weird one, right? This is now coming to the TCG for the naysayers, and it's probably the biggest attraction so far. Now, everybody running out and buying access code talker, it could still be in there, it could not be in there. There were not enough 10s to know. But I'm getting nervous too at this point, right? It's like okay, where is he? Come on, confirm him. You can't be missing the main boss monster. You have all this other stuff, all the ad Ignister stuff's in here. Where is the other part of this duel? That does get to me just a little that we haven't seen it at this point too, but I wouldn't be freaking out and running towards it either. I'd be waiting for this full set spoiler, and then also knowing that Gold Series and Brothers of Legend is on the horizon, not make any of the most hasty big dollar to the moon decisions overall. Thanks for watching. What is your plan? Are you going sealed or singles? I do think that there is still a case to be had for the sealed 10s, depending on the volume you're going in at and what you are after. And Crossout Designator adds a different gamble. But if you got in early on those pre-sales at $155 a case, you're already winning on reselling the 10s sealed if you wanted to. That's, you know, its own topic in terms of shipping and finding buyers, but you should find a buyer for a case of 10s pretty easy, and especially with the hype that is starting to go behind them. Now, what's missing from the 10s that you can't wait to be confirmed, or you hope isn't missing? Let me know in the comment section down below, and go watch some fellow Yu-Gi Tuber videos on this. I'll be breaking down ratios at some point once we have confirmation there are no short prints in this year's 10s. Also, as I've seen comments, oh, I know there will be short prints of the 10s. No, there weren't last year. Doesn't mean there will or won't be this year, but I would think there wouldn't be this year if they went that way last year. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What are you doing here? Again, time and time again, if you haven't. Like the video if you enjoy the conversation, and let me know what you think so far. Seriously, I want to hear from you guys.